Hello and welcome back to Comic Literate, the podcast where we comically
and literally
review comics. That was my co-host Jamie, I'm Ryan, and this week we are looking at Wolverine, Weapons of Armageddon. I don't know if it's meant to be said that way, but...
You did spooky season voice.
Yeah, but it feels like a grand, like, Weapons of Armageddon, like that kind of thing, doesn't it? Even though then when when it was announced, the big Marvel tie-in, it was just like, Marvel Armageddon.
We're doing that.
And they went... But Chip Zdarsky's writing it, and people are like, well.
So, credits, you've
Music.
already hinted at it. Oh yeah, cue the music.
So you were saying?
Yes, so as you've correctly mentioned, this was written by Chip Zdarsky, who we love.
Yep, big fans.
Art by Luca Maresca.
Sure. As good as we're going to get it.
Luca Maresca. There was a color artist, Bryan Valenza, and the lettering was done by VC's Joe Sabino. So I'm thinking he's Joe Sabino of VC.
I would assume so, yeah. Otherwise, VC's plural is a very strange first name.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what? I spend a lot of time in baby groups now, and I've heard weirder. If you're listening as somebody from one of our baby groups, it's not you. Your kid's name is fine.
They all famously listen to... New parents love comic book podcasts.
Do you know, I've specifically not told any of them that I do a podcast.
I don't tell anyone, though, in my real life that I do this.
No, because when you tell somebody you do a podcast, they just assume you're a raging misogynist.
Yeah. Or the misogynist assume it's a nerdy thing, where it's like, well, you're right, actually. But,
yeah, no, they're right.
But you need to really know who you're telling, and that's the problem.
You do. So, you need to play... the music, Ryan.
What do we... I'll tell you what is this actually, this comic first? I think it's just fair to say this is a tie-in, prelude tie-in to the big Marvel crossover event, which Chip Zdarsky is apparently helming. And this is meant to be like laying the breadcrumbs for the big crossover event kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not just a standard Wolverine comic,
no.
Although there's a lot of elements, which we're about to get into, which are very standard Wolverine. So,
yes.
But before we get to that, general thoughts.
Do you know, I used to hate you playing that off your phone, but
Yeah.
I did a dip test recently and listened to some episodes, and I don't hate it anymore.
I think it's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
It's fun as a listener.
And these days, we've got to take what little bits of fun we can.
Yeah.
And speaking of bit of fun...
so, Ryan, I generally know if you're going to like something or not.
Okay.
Once I've read it, I generally know roughly what you're going to think, and you often have the same...
Yeah. You surprised me. I think you surprised me more than I surprise you.
Yeah, because I'm way more inconsistent than you.
Depends if you've eaten.
Just
like,
as
on the
a
day.
human being, I'm less consistent than you are. But
I like my routines.
I like routine. I also resist it.
Yes.
I don't know where you're going to come down on this one.
Okay. So do you want me to do you want to tell me your thoughts first then?
I quite like it.
I quite liked it.
Yeah,
And
I quite liked it.
It was a bit of fun. I think it's one of those. It in places it feels very mid because it retreads a lot of similar ground for the Wolverine character. Like I literally read this. I was like, I've read other Wolverine stories that follow these kind of beats.
I think it's hard to judge comic books based on them retreading old ground, because isn't that the bread and butter of comic books? We just get the same origin story a million times over.
Generally, yes, but I think I expected a little more from Zdarsky. But that all being said, there is other stuff in here that is like good and unique and interesting as well.
I think it's a really solid...
I mean, put it this way, I read it when as each issue came out, because I was just like, what is this? And I finished the 4 issues, like, independent of this. And it's why I suggested in the first place. I was like, this was actually pretty good, to be fair. I did wonder where you were going to fall on this, because I think it is very super shenanigansy. But again, there are parts of this which I think improve it and give it more than just a mid-comic.
Okay, going into this, I was expecting me to be like, oh, I like it, it's okay. Hearing your opinions, I disagree with you. I think it's really good.
Oh yeah, there are really good parts in it. Like, so getting into it, should we talk about art for any kind of length of time on this? Because overall, well, starting with the arting, here is, and because it is starting with the arting, as is requested by the superfans,
yeah,
you know who you are. that we do have to sing the starting with the arting song,
You can fuck off.
which is, and we're starting
No, I'm not.
with the arting.
I'm not doing.
And we're
this again.
gonna talk about
No.
art.
We used to do that, and I'm not doing it anymore. It just
I think it's gonna happen. Regardless.
you can try.
You said that about the general thoughts theme.
Ryan.
You said it.
I'm a parent. I have more staying power.
Yeah, but you also have to get used to singing songs.
I do sing a lot of songs. Okay, art.
Starting with the
We're gonna gloss over the fact that I don't want there to be a theme tune to starting with the arting.
because otherwise people will demand it.
Because it's fucking like right, the art is good.
I thought it was serviceable. I don't think I was ever looking at the art like, wow, there's one panel which I was like, that's a great panel and it looks really good. Other than that, I thought it just told the story well. And that's, I think, the highest kind of praise I can give it.
Tells the story really well. It's good.
I'm surprised you're as high on the art. I thought you would have found it like, just, again, like Marvel house style at the time.
Kind of, yeah, but there's no jank.
No? I mean, again, but when it's house style, like, that's a minimum requirement, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no, because like sometimes we read comics where it's like 90% house style, 10% shite, right? Like we have read comics that are house style that just aren't good in terms of art.
See, my definition of house style, I mean, I might have said differently in previous episodes. I can't remember everything I've said.
I'm unlikely to hold you to things you've said in previous episodes. Every episode is a clean slate as far as I'm concerned.
A new podcast every time. I feel like if the art is like this, where it's just like serviceable and everything looks in order and is consistent, I feel like I would call that house style. And then if it's worse than that, I say look, maybe like it's close to house style, but not as good, or then worse, or bad, or horrible. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
yeah,
I feel like those are my scales. Again, someone could be like, but you said this about this art. And, I could be called a hypocrite, to be fair.
I really liked the art. I found it really pleasant. I honestly thought this was quite a good little read. And like, Wolverine looked good throughout.
I think I like a more grizzled looking Wolverine. Like
one of your favorite Wolverine comics of all time is Old Man Logan, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you that, yeah. I hadn't really thought about it, but now that I'm like thinking about all the Wolverine comics I've read, that is probably the case. There's a lot of good stuff I haven't read, to be fair.
Yeah, neither of us are massive on Wolverine, are we?
I mean, eventually he'll be brought into the MCU, so that'll be like our benchmark of like, right, we're going to do all Wolverine stuff now, and we'll do Old Man Logan then.
I feel so sorry for Hugh Jackman, because he must be so tired. He's like in his 50s and having to maintain that physique.
You say having, but he retired, and then he was like, I'm back.
Yeah, he did it through. He fucking loves it, doesn't he? He fucking loves being Wolverine.
Apparently, the story is that we came back for Deadpool Wolverine and had done this big signing off to the character in Logan, which amazing film, like best Wolverine film by far. Apparently, what happened was he was driving along thinking about it, and he was like, I think I actually want to come back. Like, I think I miss it a bit. I want to come back. And apparently, he called Ryan Reynolds, his mate, and I think Ryan Reynolds had like floated it like, oh, you could come back for the Deadpool film as Wolverine. He was like, nah, I'm retired or whatever. Apparently he was like, actually, I think I might come back. And then he called Ryan Reynolds, pulled over his car, called him, and he was like, yeah, I think I actually want to come back. And apparently Ryan Reynolds was like, are you serious? And like, no, generally like, I'm just making sure, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I think I am. Why? It's like, we're about to go in to pitch. Like, we're literally like about to go into pitch to Marvel for Deadpool 3, and we've got nothing. So like, are you serious? Because if you are, I'm literally about to walk in and I'm going to tell them Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine. Yeah, exactly. So are you serious? Because you're going to make me look real bad if you pull that again.
Real stupid.
So yeah, so it's on Hugh Jackman. Like, screw him. Like, if he wants to stay in ungodly shape in this late in his life, then that's on him.
It's crazy because actually, I was reading something.
Yeah.
It was probably a listicle, yeah.
Yeah.
And it showed like the creep in superhero physiques. And it showed Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the 2000s.
Yeah. Just looked like a normal guy.
Well, again, very impressive physique for 2002.
Yeah.
But nowadays, with the fucking steroids and the whatnots and all the stuff that they have and the personal trainers and the online and the eating fucking disorders, what people these days would consider a mid physique. And then you see him in his 50s playing Wolverine and Deadpool Wolverine, and he is fucking jacked.
And guaranteed any shirtless scenes, he's dehydrated to fuck.
And this is the thing. They didn't used to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
The dehydration stuff. Whereas, now they'll do... I mean, it's the same as, like, UFC fighters for weigh-ins.
Yeah. Apparently what they do now, or some people do, is they know that alcohol dehydrates you. So if you've got, like, a shirtless scene in your big film the next day, you get pissed the night before. Yeah. And then... but imagine this, waking up with a hangover and not drinking any water, like continuing to dehydrate until you film your thing. Like,
and because those big shirtless scenes are normally a big fight scene as well.
Not necessarily. I mean, so like I remember Paul Rudd in Ant-Man. Like, there's one shirtless scene with him, and it's because he's like applying like ointment or something to a injury. Yeah, and he's just got his abs out, and like the Janet Van Dyne character. Hope Van Dyne, I can't remember which is which, but the younger one sees him as a bit like, oh, he's not so bad, actually. And it's like, they literally just wrote a scene, because I think Paul Rudd was like, I got into shape, I'm being a superhero. They were like, fine, we'll put a shirtless scene in.
I got into superhero shape, yeah.
There's a great story. This is wildly off tangent, but apparently people love the tangents, so here we go. There's a story I've read where there's a film called The Lovely Bones by Peter Jackson, like years and years ago. And
have you seen it?
I have, yeah, I saw it, I think
good.
Around the time. Yeah, it's pretty good. And
it's Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg as the dad of the story. Apparently Ryan Gosling was originally cast, and apparently what happened was Ryan Gosling, because he read the book and like got a description of the character,
didn't he turn up really fat?
He turned up really fat, and Peter Jackson was like, why have you done this? No one asked you to do this.
I read the same thing. He went from like 170 pounds to like 250 or something, didn't he?
There's pictures from him around the time. It's like, he's definitely put on weight, like fair enough. But then just imagine him turning up. He's like, no, I read the book, like the character's fat. It's like, we hired you to be Ryan Gosling, not some fat like middle-aged dad.
If we'd wanted somebody to put on a bunch of weight, we would have gotten
Christian Bale,
thank you. If we'd wanted somebody to do a really dangerous body transformation for a role, we would have hired Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That was impressive, because I knew who I meant, but couldn't find the name.
There's one main guy who does that in Hollywood, to the point where apparently when it was some award thing or whatever, but he was speaking to Gary Oldman, who had just done, is it The Darkest Hour, but what he plays Churchill?
Yeah.
And he's got all these prosthetics on, look fat. Apparently Christian Bale was like talking to him, and he was like, yeah, how did you get put on all that weight so quickly for the film? And Oldman was like, it's prosthetics, you psychopath. Like, Jesus Christ.
Not all of us
You're the only one who does this.
Not all of us go down to 20 kilos to play the fucking machinist, you weirdo.
And then immediately jump to jacked for Batman Begins. Yeah, definitely steroid.
I don't think so. Christian Bale seems like a really nice, no nonsense, no bullshit kind of chap who wouldn't put that junk in his veins.
But he also will go to extreme lengths to get into whatever the shape is for the film.
He'll eat a lot or not eat a lot. That's not as extreme as being like, he's just there in his Ford Tacoma that he's had since the 2000s, right? Hanging out, playing Kenneth Miles. I don't think he's going to be like, sorry, could somebody just shoot me up with steroids so I can get real jacked to be Batman? I just don't see it.
This was also the guy who shouted at like some stagehand or something during one of the Terminator films because he was so in character, and like a proper shouting tirade at some poor guy who was doing the lighting or
Everyone's
something.
had a little shout.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I think if he's gonna risk his health losing weight for the machinist, he would take steroids to get into shape for Batman.
Mr. Bale, Christian Bale.
We know you're listening.
We know you're listening. We'll put this out as a short on TikTok.
That's where famously Christian Bale who
hangs out on TikTok.
Yeah.
We won't tell anyone your answer, but can you please settle an argument between Ryan and I, the hosts of the Comic Literate podcast, of which we know you're a fan? Did you take roids to get in shape for Batman? Also, I think the Ford Tacoma is a really great car, and it's really cool that you've kept on alive for so long, so please answer me.
And I really liked your advice. Anyway, back to the comic.
So should we jump in? Should we do a little interlude and then just jump in with the meat and potatoes?
Yeah. I mean, let's put in the interlude.
I can't remember what we were doing before the tangent, so we kind of have to just crack on.
I mean, we're in the story now, so... Yeah. The thing with the story is, I mean...
Would you like me to run you through it?
Yeah. Tell us what the story is.
It starts with us seeing the person who recruited, what's his name, Logan, into Weapon X.
But like located him.
Yeah. So it transpires that this person is still tracking mutants, but is doing so to protect them and prevent them from being used in any of these super soldier experiments.
Yeah.
They start tracking a young mutant who they think has been kidnapped and is being used to make super soldiers because he has a healing factor.
Yes.
They end meeting the second Captain A. Never heard of this guy. Boston?
You have Colton, I think his name is.
Colton.
David Colton, I think. I know it's Colton. I can't remember.
When have I heard of David Colton?
He was the guy who became Captain America while Captain America was on ice, and we met him in the Zdarsky Captain America comic that we covered.
But he was a douche rocket at the time.
Yeah.
But I like this guy.
Yeah.
Is this a redemption arc?
It's called a character arc.
Hey!
I made an arc symbol with my hands when I said that.
So we get David Colton's redemption arc.
Yeah, basically.
And then they fuck some shit up, fight some other super soldiers, and save the day.
Yeah. Spoiler, the day is saved at the end.
The day's kind of saved.
Yeah, but that's not the interesting part about the ending. But we will get to that. But in terms of the main story, I mean, this guy Colton, like, he does seem to be at the center of where this Armageddon thing is, like, centered around and where Zdarsky's going with him.
Yeah.
But, and, like, I mean, at the end of that, so I did have to go back and reread the Captain America comics.
Well, it gives you issue numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I think it just tells you, like, Captain America 2025, like that. But basically what happened in that was... He was Captain America while Captain America was on ice. He was Captain America during Iraq and Afghanistan.
I liked this, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a great comic. I, in my personal opinion, I think the Captain America comic was far better story than this.
I agree.
But I think Zdarsky had a lot more to play with, and this was more of a like set building, world building kind of thing. But in that one, he was Captain America. Then Captain America gets unthawed, and they're like, "Captain, meet Captain." And then, but it turns out, the new Captain America, David Colton, I'm pretty sure his name's David Colton, I might be getting that wrong. For now, he's David Colton, shall we say. He had a thing where IED blew up, and then some soldier was like about to shoot civilians, and he beheaded with the shield the soldier.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, we're just going to move past that, brush that under the rug, don't worry about it. Then they went into Latveria when Doom was still in charge, and that was when they found they were trying to find the people from the embassy who'd been held hostage. And then Colton finds them with some other person, super kind of person. And that other person reveals, we're actually here to kill them.
Yeah.
Kills one of them. But then Colton kills or tries to kill the other one to save the embassy hostage.
Yeah, Colton's overwhelmingly a good dude in it, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just a bit misunderstood.
Well, but then he goes on to kill a bunch of the Latvian army people. Because he's like... oh, these people, like, I'm done with this, and there's just so much murder, and I'm just whatever. And Captain America, the one who's like, some of those soldiers you just killed, the Latvian ones, they weren't only doing this out of fear. Like, they weren't, like, up for it all and everything. And, so that's bad. So Colton, he kind of ends with, like, I can't be Captain America kind of thing. You're the real Captain America, and I'm just going to fuck off kind of thing. So that's where we are when this story starts.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually make many notes of the story because... what I mentioned earlier, this is a very by-the-numbers Wolverine story.
Do you think? Well, I suppose, that it's not the first time we've seen Wolverine go and hurt people who are doing experiments on people.
I mean, even that broadly, like if it was within that wheelhouse, I'd be like, okay, like quintessential Wolverine, I'm fine with that. It's the fact that I've got kind of a pro and con on this, where the woman, the Terry, I think her name is,
Terry.
Who locates mutants, she literally says at one point, she's like, there's a new super soldier program. There's always a new super soldier program. And I'm like...
they acknowledge it.
But on the one hand, it is kind of hanging a lantern on we keep using this story for Wolverine. But on the other hand, it's also like, in the real world, if there was a super soldier program that produced Captain America, of course they'd be redoing it over and over and over again until they got it right.
And in fairness, America did try it in the 1960s.
Oh, yeah. But imagine if the first time they got a Captain America out of it.
Yeah.
The only reason they've stopped, I put quote, stopped, for all we know, is because it had awful results and didn't produce anything.
Well, it produced a few things that are now banned under the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, sure.
The torture methods that the Americans used in Afghanistan came directly out of the MKUltra experiments.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you know much about MKUltra?
Like broad strokes, and I saw The Men Who Stare at Goats.
So, The Men Who Stare at Goats is based on a piece of hard journalism by John Ronson.
Yeah.
And I've read the book. And that book is so worth reading because the film sensationalizes a lot of what happened around it.
It's a fictional story based on the true journalism.
But the book is it's John Ronson. It's a really solid piece of journalism, and it is fully worth reading because it's also I'm only going on a very brief tangent here, but MK Ultra is what inspired Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's really heavily implied that Eleven's mum was part of the MK Ultra experiments, which is why she has all the powers.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's, like I said, with this, it does play to the fact that governments would be trying to make a new, keep trying to make a new Captain America.
Yeah.
And they keep expanding. Wolverine himself, has kind of been retconned to, that was a attempt at super soldier kind of stuff.
Yeah, so here, Weapon X created Wolverine. Isn't that also who made Deadpool?
Yes. So I can't remember, maybe this is certain iterations or not, whether the whole program was called Weapon X or if Wolverine was the 10th creation under this. So it's the Roman numeral. So if he's Weapon X, but it's the weapon program or whatever they call it.
But what was the original origin story? Because the movie origin story is different, isn't it?
For Wolverine?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically... It's broad strokes is quite the same thing.
He was a mutant, and then they put adamantium in his skeleton to make him super hardcore.
Yeah, he was working with them voluntarily and going on missions and stuff. And again, depending on the iteration. But broad strokes is he joined this program or he was kidnapped and whatever. They put metal on his bones, made him like a killing machine, similar to the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And then he broke free at some point, and that's the famous, breaking out of the glass with all the headset on and stuff and running out into the snow. And then he's forgotten all his memories, and then he finds the X-Men and happy ending or whatever.
Awesome.
But I think with this, like I said, the fact that it's this story again does feel very broad strokes. I mean, I've read this Wolverine in this kind of story a couple of times at least. I can't name them all off the top of my head. But the first one I remember is the whole X-23, Laura Kinney one. That whole thing is him being oh, they're doing it again, and they've cloned me, and they've made a younger female version of me.
Yeah.
And now I need to help her. And I'm reading this, thinking about that.
Yeah.
And how close it is.
They really it's interesting, isn't it? Because Wolverine back in there was just this kind of, he was unapproachable and unlikable. And
I think he was always gruff with a good heart.
Gruff with a good heart.
Yeah.
Okay. But for a while now, they've consistently, through various iterations, tried to make a father figure out of him. He's
been a father figure to a bunch.
Because there was the girl with the Rogue in the films.
Yes, Rogue, yeah.
And then, obviously, X2.
Yep, and in between that, Kitty Pryde at one point, Shadowcat, and Jubilee, in some comics, and certainly the animated series. He's just always the older guy, and it just depends what age they make the others. But he's going to be a father figure to someone.
They like him as an unlikely father figure, and it's okay. But I see where you're coming from. It is a bit played out, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what's happened here is pure speculation. I think Zdarsky's been I want to get this character off the ground.
Yeah,
this David Colin character, and whatever he's going to become in Armageddon. Again, we'll get into it in the ending. But he's he's started off with he's like Captain America, he's super soldier, that kind of thing, and then he's trying to get to where he wants to start this Armageddon stuff from, and he's thought, I'd do a whole bit about super soldiers and soldiers being kind of churned out by the military and forgotten about afterwards, and that kind of element,
which is all very relevant.
Yeah. That's kind of probably my favorite stuff of this comic is those looks of different versions of that and different ways they act afterwards and that kind of thing.
Fully.
And I think it just naturally gravitated to, Wolverine, he's the epitome of that. Being churned by this secret organization and then just kind of used against his will and that kind of stuff. But then I think it's interesting that they then bring in another ex-super soldier, kind of reaffirms this whole double meaning of it all with the character Nuke.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we've read that had Nuke in the character? He was the guy do you remember Daredevil Born Again, where this guy shooting up the street at the end?
Yeah.
That's Nuke, basically. So
did he have the American flag on his face?
Yeah, it's not Nuke if he ain't got the flag tattooed on his face.
But it's not. But it doesn't even look like a tattoo.
No, I don't know what. I think it's carvings he did, but I don't know where the color's from.
It looks like it's being projected. Remember in primary school, right?
Where he stood in front of the projector.
When you'd sing, and they'd have that projector thing, and it would have like plastic sheets with the letters blacked out backwards. So when they put it over the big projector, it like made the shadows on the walls.
Yeah.
It's like it's being projected on his face by one of those that's always just following him about.
Yeah. I just always assumed it was just like a voluntary tattoo he got.
That was such a deep cut. You'd have to go to a British state school in the 90s to know what I'm talking about.
They must have had projectors in America, to be fair.
No,
it's not
they
proprietary.
had guns. They had guns.
It's not proprietary technology of like the Queen's projector.
We're going to sit around the royal projector
and stare at the Queen's head for an hour.
Prince Philip's going to say something racist.
And stay away from Prince Andrew.
No, it's Prince Andrew wheels out the projector with a hard-on.
Always got to take it too far. But
at least he wasn't sweaty, Ryan.
Because he doesn't sweat.
He doesn't sweat.
Why else would anyone say that? Why would anyone say that? So Nuke is a lot less crazy in this than I've seen him in other stuff.
And he comes good at the end.
Well, I think he's a bit like, I'm not going to let people tell me what to do kind of thing, which is still pretty
Can't
good.
tell me what to do, Dad.
Military, which military is kind of the dad.
Military is daddy.
Kind of the dad, although this is private military. But I think what's interesting is...
I mean, the Americans surely love a private military.
A militia, you could say.
Well, I mean... Fucking Second Amendment rights, that's essentially what not most Americans, but the Second Amendment ones, that's what they're waiting for, right? They're waiting to join a militia.
I think that you want to go a step deeper and go like, I do not recognize the federal government as I am a sovereign citizen. Like, that's like deeper cut. Like,
yeah.
If someone claims to be a sovereign citizen, run. Anyway, the reason I bring up Nuke is I think he's an additional...
Well, he's in the story.
Well, he's in the story for one thing, but he's an additional aspect of like, how again these it's hard kind of separating like the super soldier aspect, the fantastical aspect of it from like the kind of more real world, like again, like military complex using and discarding these soldiers after they're done with them and just being like, all right, have fun, get on with it or whatever.
Yeah.
Nuke is kind of representative of the staying in it and like just unfettered loyalty. And like, still part of the program and still like keeping that place there, even when it means then doing horrendous things after the fact. Also, he's got the pills that keep him like going.
Yeah, the weird pills, man. Because my thinking on this, right, is that we see a flashback to when they're like, right, so these pills do fucky things to your adrenal system.
Yeah. Do you remember the colors and what they do?
The red pill adrenalizes you.
Yeah.
The blue pill... makes you normal, and the white pill makes you really calm.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Red, white, and blue.
Well, yeah, no, I get it. But surely you'd run out of pills at a certain point.
No, because the military is supplying them.
They're just like, he gets his bullets and his pills every week.
Yeah, that's classic Nuke. Is like, from what I've read, from what little Nuke I've read in Marvel Comics, is the classic like, he's like, Nuke, we need you to get into this action. He's like, pass me a red. Like that kind of thing.
Oh, God, that's so lame. That's so fucking lame.
But I think but he's a bad guy. So I think that works in being lame because, again, he is like a blind loyalty. And that's why he's been so crazy in the past. He's like, I will shoot up whoever you tell me to kind of level.
Yeah.
Whereas here he's a bit more measured and a bit more reflective and a bit more like, am I doing the right thing kind of thing? And it was just surprising. But again, it supports the idea that Zdarsky is doing a very much a former super soldier kind of thing, as I said before.
Yeah.
But at least Nuke was a bit more sane. At least he didn't lose the flag on his face.
Yeah, well,
that's the best part.
Because Nuke's flag face is the best bit.
Yeah. Should have mentioned in the art, but I'll mention it now. Wolverine's got the brown costume in this, as opposed to the classic, like, yellow and blue.
Oh, I thought it was yellow.
It's brown and yellow. So I think it's a bit of a cross between his classic yellow and blue and there's another one which was like brown and orange.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a cross between those kind of thing.
In my opinion, there's only one Wolverine costume. Everything else is just a pale imitation.
Are you referring to the first X-Men film where it was just black leather?
Yeah, he's just in jeans and a black leather jacket and a fucking button down.
No, I mean the proper like X-Men costume where it was just pure black head to toe.
And that is purely because he refused, isn't he? Didn't want to do the costume. And then he finally did it in Deadpool Wolverine.
No,
like, this is great.
I don't think he refused because apparently the guy who made it, who I think is a real bad bloke now, I can't even remember his name, but
Prince Andrew.
what? Well, we don't know worse, but
Prince Andrew, who famously directed the first
X-Men
X-Men film.
I can't remember his name, and I don't want to because also he's apparently a real bad bloke. But apparently he was the one who was like, we're making something new. No one look at comics or anything like that. And apparently it was Kevin Feige, who wasn't yet the Kevin Feige at the time. He was like a lower level producer. He snuck X-Men comics onto the set to some of the actors to be like, look at this. Like, this is the character, you know, who you're playing. So,
oh, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, but Hugh Jackman, I don't know. I don't think he had any aversion to the costume. Obviously, once he did in Deadpool Wolverine, he was like, it's so great to finally be able to wear the costume. And it's like, I don't think you care, but great you're saying it.
Yeah.
Great you're lying to us.
Yeah, you just want to do musical theatre and be Hugh Jackman, I suppose.
Be huge jacked man. I'm the first one to make that joke.
I don't know that you are, Ryan. Gotta be honest with you, mate.
Well, you can't prove otherwise. So, anyway.
Once we have a paid editor, slip them £5 notes to like find an edit in proof at that point.
Find an edit in proof?
Yeah.
Examples of other people making that joke.
With date stamps.
Anyway, going back to the story, again, there's not much else to say until we get to the ending. I think the only other bit that really intrigued me was the extra backstory of Colton and how him and another guy were both like at the finish line to be Captain America.
Yeah, because in the Captain A stuff, we don't find out that he has a Tony Stark heart.
No, did he get it then? I can't remember if it was revealed or not. I don't think so. I think you are.
But he got it really early on because on the other guy's first mission, he had a heart attack, and they're like, "You've probably got like 5-10 years with your heart." Like fucking 5 or 10 years.
Guy telling him was like, "No worries, you got 5-10 years to worry about that." But yeah, what I thought was interesting about that was kind of an element of like people who, again, soldiers going through the whole military thing and then being like worse off afterwards, and they're just like you know the whole thing of like veterans, veterans like being underserved, especially in America, not so much here because we have the healthcare and everything, but like
still not great for people who've served in the British Army, but. You are right, the British Army is very good at retraining people, so they have careers when they leave.
Yeah. I think there's an element here of like, whether it's physical things or even just like the PTSD and trauma of just kind of like, hey, we fucked you up, but we've got you the use we needed out of you. Anyway, goodbye.
I mean, America's at war a lot more often than we are.
I mean, I think we have troops out there doing stuff while we might not be technically at war.
Yeah.
Then again, America a lot of the time is not at war because they don't declare it. It's like, it's a special military operation. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
But I think that was an interesting caveat of like, they're putting a lot of stuff into the backstory. Zdarsky is putting a lot of stuff into the backstory of this Colton character.
But he's Zdarskying. That's what he does.
He's Zdarskying. He's laying little breadcrumbs around and all that.
And I think, do you know what? Having talked to you a bit more about it, I see where you're coming from about this being a little bit pedestrian in terms of what a Wolverine comic can do. But it is setting the scene for what could be a really interesting David Colton story.
True.
And the David Colton we get here, sort of matured, grizzled, bitter, living out in the woods, trying to avoid being a hero, but still holding on to the Captain America shield because it's so important.
Yeah, it's the too important to throw away, but too painful to use or do anything with.
Yeah, and I think there is something special about the mantle of Captain America in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, we've talked about this in previous episodes, and if you've not been a long-time listener, I will repeat it. I am a huge fan of Captain America because he's all-round just a good guy.
Well, there's one of my favorite moments of this story is a flashback.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, flashback where, because Colton, after he kills a bunch of Laverian soldiers, they're just like, yeah, we brushed the last thing under the rug, but now this is a bit too much. People saw it. So basically you're discharged. And he's like, can I keep the shield? And they're like, it's government property, son. So, but he has the shield in the story. And then later they show another flashback and it's Steve Rogers at his home being like, hey, sorry they did that to you. And like a really kind of poignant, like, again, these are the points where I'm like, elevated this story to being more than just a by the numbers Wolverine new new Weapon X program thing. And it's Captain America really poignantly saying like, they were wrong to do that to you. And Colton being like, I just want to be like you were my favorite growing up. And Captain America like, I'm sorry that you were trying to live up to these expectations that like other people have set around me. And like, you didn't have to be me, you just had to be you kind of thing. Like that old classic, like, just be yourself kind of thing.
But just Steve Rogers being an all-round good guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, my notes literally were classic Steve Rogers, always saying the best stuff.
Yeah,
always
it's
saying the
like
right things.
Homespun, working class Brooklyn wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah. But also far more elevated of like, just the nicest guy always does the right thing, you know? But he's got that quaintness about him as well. Anyway, he brings the shield as well. He's like, anyway, here's a shield. Like,
yeah.
Don't worry about
it. Although, again, I don't know how deep the Captain A shield lore goes in the comics. Because I know that it was made by Stark Sr. in the films, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't that in the comics. I think they've retconned it to at least make it vibranium, like the MCU, which I'm not sure if that was even a thing before or not.
Right, so the shield was just a shield. Because there's the Captain A shield in the MCU is special to the point that it can't be replicated, isn't it? It's one of a kind.
I think they have made one or two since. It's like very difficult to replicate.
Yeah, because all the vibranium is being mined in
Wakanda. Yes. I think at the time when it was made in World War II, it was that one of a kind thing.
Yeah.
And since then they're like, well, we've got a little more vibranium now because we've got like better relations with Wakanda, so we can make like a couple more. Because they make a new one for the Captain America who became US agent. I can't remember his name, but he's in the Thunderbolts and he gets one. But then
does Sam get one? No,
yeah.
Sam gets Steve's though, doesn't he?
Yes.
But then there's one that's like mostly destroyed and Tony Stark takes it. He's like, you don't get the shield, my dad takes it. My dad made this, you don't get to keep it. Like Civil War?
Civil War, I don't think that one was destroyed. I might be wrong about that.
I
don't
thought
think
it was in bits.
I don't think... Oh, maybe it was. I think it got destroyed when Thanos or something like smashed through it or something. I might be wrong about that as well. And without Googling it, which I think is going to be a difficult Google, like, when was the MCU shield ever destroyed?
Oh, that's one for Google AI.
Tell us an answer which might be correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a lot stronger an item in the MCU, and they've retconned it somewhere in the
comic
comics.
books. It's just like a good shield.
Yeah, it was more of a symbol. Like, it wasn't like a real thing that... I mean, originally, it was crescent-shaped in the...
Wasn't it?
And the only reason I know that is because I'm thinking of the Captain America punches Hitler one. Like, it was that shield in that cover or whatever. So, before talking about the ending with regards to where we're going with this David Colton character, I think it is kind of interesting to note that all this is being done to get this character off the ground for, like, a big crossover thing.
Yeah.
But they also introduce another character in it who and I think most other people who read this comic don't really give a shit about.
The young lad.
Yeah, I mean, in the terms of the story, you still get a little bit of like, I hope he makes out all right.
He was a MacGuffin.
I mean, well, the box is the MacGuffin.
Yeah, so the box is the MacGuffin that he's interested in.
Yeah, so...
Like, the bad guys are interested in the box that he's carrying.
Yeah.
But for the people we follow, Logan, Dave, Terry, the MacGuffin that they're interested in is him.
Yes.
They don't care about the box.
And the story is happening because they're the young lad and the box are both gone because he took it and they're trying to find...
But the bad guys aren't particularly interested in him. They're interested in the box.
Well, one of the guys...
The scientist wants the box.
Yes, actually.
His boss wants everything.
Yeah, they're happy actually to kill the young lad if they get the box back.
Yeah.
The box.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
So that is actually a point. You reminded as well, that is actually an interesting point. But while we're on the topic, I was going to say this young lad, it's another young mutant that someone's created. And
with claws.
He can make claws. He can make anything because apparently he's got essentially liquid adamantium.
Yeah.
Which that in itself is like the big thing here is they made a liquid solution adamantium. Because the thing with adamantium is meant to be when you mine it in its raw form, you can melt it down
only the once.
And then when it's set, it's indestructible. That's meant to be the point. So the fact it's like, it's like a liquid now that could be controlled by nanites that we've put in his system as well, kind of thing. So I think with that character, is another addition for me for when I've been reading comics. There's a lot of instances of here's a new character and they've just like put too much in terms of like powers and how they look.
Well, it's power creep, isn't it?
Kind of power creep, yeah. But then like even like there's very powerful characters who are interesting as well. What I'm saying is he's just kind of a blank personality who is in this situation, is in trouble. And we don't like, the only reason we sympathize for him at all is because Terry is like, there's a young boy out there and I'm trying to help them. Like, I'm more invested in Terry like succeeding in helping than I am for the wealth the
he is
for the safety of the boy.
He's not a means to his own ends here, is he?
Yeah.
Again, he is a MacGuffin.
Yes.
Like he really is distilled down to being no more important to the story than a thing that they are looking for. It's why I said that he was just a MacGuffin, because he isn't that important. They just needed something to look for, right?
Yeah. I think the fact that they've given him any powers, like the fact that Zdarsky thought for any time, like what should his powers be and what should he do? Like you are making a character at that point.
Yeah.
And I think the problem here, like I say, he's got this liquid adamantium. He can do kind of anything. It's kind of venomy, like symbiote-y, and it's adamantium, so it's close to Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's got the healing powers and the animalistic stuff like Wolverine as well.
It's a fun little set of things to make a power set.
But then even that, like I said, the connection to the X-23 storyline, like he's like you, he's got your powers, and he might not have claws, but he's got like the bloodlust like an animal and all that kind of stuff, and makes it closer to Wolverine again. What I'm saying is, I think they put too much in terms of powers. I think if he had lesser powers, he'd be more interesting. Because like he's like, oh, it's big adamantium walls and stuff, and he can and armor and blah blah blah. And it's like, Wolverine's popular. He just had claws. Like that's all you need. Gambit's a very popular X-Men. He just throws cards that explode. Like that's it.
But
like,
these are old school characters. Like they feel the need to make things more now.
Yeah. But then again, I think too much. I think they've over-egged the pudding in this character.
They've over-egged the... I've never heard that expression. That's a good one.
Colton's more interesting, and he's just Captain America, but because of his time taken to make the backstory and the personality and everything.
I fully agree with you. Like, but maybe at some point we'll get that for the kid and he'll become our favorite character.
But again, the reason I'm saying this all is this is why I'm worried. It's like, remember the boy from Weapons of Armageddon? I'm like, I wasn't that concerned about him. Like, show me Colton again. Like, he's interesting. I'm invested in him now, but I don't really care about this other kid.
I think Colton's going to be pretty central to this.
Well, before we get to that, the box.
The box.
Do you know where the box comes from?
No.
So the box, and they only mention this. There's one little bit where they say that asterisk and like mentioning a title. They only do that once, and then at the end of issue 4, they put and if you want to know more about the box, read this thing. But it's like after the story ends, so I thought you might not have seen it.
Yeah.
That box, I'm 80% sure that box is a box from the Ultimate Universe.
Oh shit!
That the Ultimates were using to give people the powers to make them superheroes again in the Ultimate Universe. And what happened?
So they need to reverse engineer it so they can keep using it.
Well, they were like, we think this box gives someone superpowers. But their whole thing is super soldiers.
Right.
It's like, we need to work out to make these new boxes or replicate them. But the way that they got into the universe, and what's interesting is, in terms of reading this story and how good it is, like good enough that I finished it as a story. There is a story of Miles Morales going back to the Ultimate Universe, or going into this new Ultimate Universe, and he winds up bringing these boxes back somehow. And I read the first 2 issues of that. That was like a 4-issue or 5-issue story. And I was like, oh, Miles Morales, big fan of him. Going to the Ultimate Universe, I love that. Meeting all the other Ultimate Universe characters, like he's traveling the world for whatever reason there, and that's cool. I read two issues and I was like, I can't be asked for this.
Right,
like,
so
I put it down. So
not worth bothering with.
No, exactly.
But do you think that's how this box ended up there?
I'm almost certain. Like this.
So I suppose the question is, how do you think this compares to the prequel about the Maker we read before the Ultimates? Do you remember we read that one issue? I think this is a better introduction of those characters than that was.
I think this is a better story and a better reinforcing the new character David Colton, like easily. I think with that Maker comic, I think it's called Ultimate Reborn or something like that. Ultimate something.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that. For me, what I did really like about that was, again, this whole like how this new universe is being created. Like I like all that kind of stuff where it's like big universal stuff, but it's also like, here's the building blocks and here's why it's all coming to it. And the relationship between Maker and Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. They have that last saying where Reed's like, hey, like, don't go kind of thing. Like, we don't want you to go off and do this. We don't know what you're going to do even. And the Maker says something along the lines of like, if our roles were reversed, would you stop and let you in?
Yeah.
And Reed's kind of like, well, no, obviously. And he's like, right, well, bye.
Peace.
Yeah. So I like that kind of stuff, but this is definitely a better story.
Yeah.
And speaking of the story, the ending, like you said earlier, spoiled the ending that all ends happily or whatever.
Save the day.
But I think what's interesting is what happens to David Colton and how that leads into Armageddon.
Yeah.
Because Colton, this is a good use of the thing. He doesn't want to use the shield even though he carries around. Yeah. And at one point, one of these super soldiers is going to shoot him. And Wolverine's like, use the shield, dickhead. Like,
yeah.
And he still can't. He can't bring himself to pick it up. And he gets shot through the chest with a laser or something. And Wolverine, he's like, I've got this box, this MacGuffin box, and apparently it might give you powers and maybe it'll save your life. And the fact that Colton's like, no, I can't be trusted with the power.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it, all that. I think Wolverine silently, which is good for comics, like a bit salty, is a bit like, well, that's a good reason to give you it then.
Yeah.
It's the Jon Snow. It's the person who doesn't want power is exactly the person who should have the power.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then it cuts to, quite dramatic cut, in the woods. Wolverine's with the new lad, whose name I can't remember, and he's like, here's how you be an animal man. And he's like, thanks, Dad, who's not my dad. And then...
Thanks, Kratos, in the last God of War game.
I mean, Kratos is just another iteration of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it. There's a lot of God of War...
from The Last of Us.
Got a lot of God of War fans going to be real angry I just said that.
They can fuck off.
But...
God of War hasn't been good since like the first one on the PS2.
The dad ones more recently have been really good.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh,
they like reinvigorated the genre.
I saw lukewarm reviews, but then again,
no, you didn't.
The lukewarm review I saw though was from Yahtzee.
Who
only gives lukewarm reviews.
Well, I'm a big fan of Yahtzee. Very good video game reviewer. Great recommendations for like when he likes something, it's really good.
He's like one of the, in terms of like people who say shit on the internet, he's one of the greats.
Yes. But he's a bit like us in a way. He's like, he doesn't accept mid. Like,
he very rarely has a good opinion of anything.
Yeah, especially AAA games.
Yeah.
But I think if you're not that kind of level, what's the reviewer, the food critic from Ratatouille? I don't like food. I love food. And that's why I'm so, critical of it, essentially. Yeah. Like, that's him in video games. So if you're not that, God of War, the most recent God of War games are pretty good, is what I'll say. So, at the end, Colton rebuilding his cabin, because that got blowed up by Nuke earlier. And him and Wolverine talking and like, I think I'm going to help people again. And thanks for your help, Wolverine, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, by the way, I can fly now. And that's kind of...
pretty much. Like, that's kind of how it goes down.
That's kind of the ending. And it is interesting, because it's like, what powers has he got? It's like, surely it's not just flight, like, obviously.
And it kind of... So, was this character introduced by Chip Zdarsky in that Captain America run from last year?
Yeah, 100%.
So, brand new character.
Yep.
They've kind of started him from the point of, like, he's the best attempt we've had at making a super soldier.
Yeah.
And now he is properly superpowered.
Yes, but I think important to address the steps in between there. Like, became a super soldier, lost it psychologically a bit because of the war, and all the death and destruction. Really lost it when he murdered a bunch of Latverian soldiers in the field, but he did save that kid, the American kid, the embassy kid. So then rejected all power. He's like, I can't be trusted with it. I'm just going to go off the grid and I'm going to kill people who are creating super soldiers. That's all I'm doing now. And now he's got big superpowers.
I mean, the one thing I will say for this is that it is a really accurate critique of modern Anglo-American history to dig in a little bit to the psychological drain that Iraq and Afghanistan took on those soldiers. Because I think, obviously people came out of World War I and World War II with PTSD up the wazoo. But particularly in World War II, they had the assurance that they were fighting the good fight, right?
Sorry, I just had in my head a doctor speaking to a soldier, just like, I'm sorry, you have PTSD up the wazoo.
Yeah, I knew it was funny when I said
Is that bad? Like, that's the most severe level.
That's the worst kind. So coming out of particularly World War II, they had the assurance that, like, we were...
Greatest generation.
We were stopping the tide of Nazism, right? We were preventing fascism from sweeping across Europe. We were preventing a Reich that could have lasted 1,000 years and ruined humanity. And then you get to like Nam and Iraq, where you're fighting not against an army, but against a militia that you can't always see. And there were instances where some of those soldiers were killing people who were quite young. Like there were when you're fighting a Viet Cong style guerrilla army, shit gets pretty real and things get really fucking dark.
It's that meme of when you're going through the Vietnamese jungle and you start hearing the trees speaking Vietnamese.
Yeah, fucking A, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the American and British soldiers, but there were
Mostly
more
American.
There were more Americans out there than anything else, weren't there?
Yeah.
Coming home from that conflict, who signed up in a fervor of like jingoistic nationalism after 9/11, and signed up to do what they thought was fighting the good fight, and then got dropped in the middle of the desert to do and see a bunch of fucked up shit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that has been like such a relevant part of American culture in the 21st century.
Oh, for sure.
Like the fallout of Iraq and Afghanistan, and I think Americans kind of having to come to terms with the fact that the American industrial military complex isn't necessarily a positive thing, and American soldiers coming home from an awful situation that I can't even imagine what being a part of that conflict felt like. In fact, I've had a conversation with a British soldier who did 2 tours of Iraq and Afghanistan. I think he did one in Iraq, one in Afghanistan. And he talked about the fact that he doesn't like bumping into soldiers from his regiment that he knows, because he says, I don't ever want to reminisce about the time that we were fucking barbarians. That's how he felt about it. He was like, we were barbarians. And I think, comic books are art, and Chip Zdarsky is a very good writer. And so I do think it is important and relevant that some of our stories at this point, at least, dig into the impact that conflict has had on American culture.
Yeah, yeah. I think it could be going in a way, because the reason, the whole Armageddon thing, the reason it's called that, apparently the clues to what it's actually about, because we don't even know what like the plot of this crossover is going to be. All we've kind of been given is it's akin to a previous crossover called Avengers Disassembled, or something like that. But it's basically like the breakup of the Avengers. Like that's what it's been compared to as previously. So the idea that I think what we can glean from this and what the theme of this Armageddon crossover is going to be, I think Colton is going to be a really powerful person, like really powerful superhero. But I think he's going to come at it from the aspect of we should actually be using our powers responsibly to help as many people as possible. And I think a lot of superheroes are going to be like, yeah, we do that already. And he's going to be like, yeah, but there's still wars happening and there's still famines happening and, that kind of stuff. I think, like, in that area, that's where Zdarsky's going to go with this. And I think that's going to be interesting. Like, if it is. But this way, and if I'm wrong, if it's about something else, I'm as intrigued for something else,
Well, I mean, we both like Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah, best thing he ever wrote, though, was the James Gunn, Kevin Feige fan fiction.
I liked Public Domain.
Public Domain really good as well.
Did we finish Public Domain?
No, we did like 5 issues, I think.
Yeah, we read a chunk of it, didn't we?
Yes. Sex Criminals is very good. He wrote that with Matt Fraction. And there's TV adaptation.
Keep telling me to read that.
Well, there's a TV adaptation coming out soon, apparently. So we're going to have to read it for
not
that.
Just pornography.
No, you don't know what the story of it is.
You have explained it to me, but now is not the space or time to explain it to me.
We don't have the mental space for it.
We don't.
No.
But no, I think I'm excited for what he's going to do. And this is like the big event thing that's replacing the Ultimates, isn't it?
I mean, they always have events, because the Ultimates is a separate thing where it's like a separate universe thing. But this is the thing this is like the big event thing they're doing now, isn't it? Yeah, but they were doing big event things while the Ultimates was happening. Like they did at least 2, I think. One was One World Under Doom, where Doom became rule of the world again.
Have comic books always been this busy?
They have been ever since like Crisis on Infinite Earths and things like that were really popular, and they've just slowly ramped up since then.
Yeah.
Like back then, those kind of big events were used to reset the canon of the universe because it got too complicated.
And so they basically like, this is now becomes 0.0, but we needed a big story to get us there.
And that was successful because they were like, big events happening, new stories, like all your heroes are dying, but they're all going to be born again and new stories, whatever. And then that was successful, but I think at the time they were like, well, of course it was successful. It's the big crossover. Like, we can't do this every year kind of thing. And then
somebody in the corner of the room went, what if we did it every year?
Slowly it's crept up. Again, false metaphor, but it's the frog in the boiling pot.
Yeah.
Which apparently isn't a real thing, but it's still
you
a really good metaphor.
If you put a frog in a boiling pot of water, guess what? It'll fucking jump out.
That's part of it. It's if you put it in Cold War and slowly turn it up.
It will still
But
jump
apparently
out when it
that's-
gets too hot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you know the frogs that they did that on? They had severed the connection between their brain and their nervous system. They were trying to test their I think they were trying to test their reflexes or something.
Yeah, scientists, I mean, as this story has shown, scientists do a lot of fucked up shit.
Pre-ethics.
Yeah.
It's a pre-ethics experiment.
That'll be why then.
Because
like Captain America.
Well, yeah, because there was a point where ethics was introduced into science and psychology, wasn't there?
And they were like, "Fuck's sake, this can make everything harder."
Have you seen some of the pre-ethics experiments they did on babies?
No, but I mean, no, and I don't want to. But
Super fucked up. There was one where they got.
This is really super fucked up. Here's what I'm going to tell everyone on the podcast.
They got baby apes, yeah,
Right.
And they gave them a cold, hard.
Is this going to make everyone sad? Who's
yeah,
listening?
a little bit. They gave them a cold, hard mother surrogate, right, which gave them food, and then a really lovely, soft, warm mother surrogate that didn't. And they just watched as these poor little baby apes cuddled up to this like cold, hard piece of metal so that they could eat. How tragic is that?
Well, I saw an experiment once where they introduced money to apes, and eventually they, some of the female apes.
Is this The Simpsons?
No,
Are you sure this wasn't on The Simpsons, Ryan?
I'm almost certain that it's not from The Simpsons.
It was
I could
Futurama,
also be wrong.
Wasn't it?
I'm almost no, because they would have been space apes or
It would have
alien
been
apes,
space
wouldn't it?
apes. And you'd have remembered that.
Yeah, exactly. But they introduced money to apes, and apparently they just started getting really violent with each other and stuff. And I was like,
I thought you were about to say the female apes started engaging in prostitution.
they did that as well.
They did
but
that
I thought
as well.
I'd broaden it out a bit. It's like just bad stuff happened afterwards. But I like the idea of like peaceful harmony. It's like here's a few bucks. It's like I'll kill you. Like it just jumped straight
the
to
apes
that.
didn't understand the concept of money.
They had to show them there's like if you exchange money here, you get food. So then money became worth something, but it was something they could trade, but it wasn't an immediate like grab and shove it in your mouth like food is.
Yeah.
So that's
It
where
was
it
a
became
resource
like,
they could hoard.
exactly
Like money.
Yeah. So anyway, capitalism.
God, right. Let's all go do a David Colton and live in a fucking cabin in the woods.
But become superheroes?
Ideally,
I'd like that.
yes.
Well, speaking of superheroes,
My partner said today, by the way, that she was like, "Oh, there's an obvious answer to what the most powerful superpower is," and I was like, "You're talking to a guy who has a comic book podcast here. I've thought about this a lot," and she was like, "The ability to control probabilities." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She went, "What's the probability of me getting £100,000? Now it's 100%." I'm like, "Oh fuck, that's quite clever."
I mean, there's a superhero who does that. A woman called Domino, who's part of the X-Force and Deadpool kind of area.
I can't wait to have that conversation when I get home.
Apparently, the power is that because like whenever a choice or a thing happens, you would split off like and go one universe or another. Like, you know, the whole every choice splits into multiverse.
Yeah.
But her power, she would always end up in the one where it worked out for her. Or that's, I think, the loose understanding of what happened.
So we've got some comments.
Do we need comment corner music? I mean, we haven't got it, but do we need it?
No, I just don't think it's justified. So one comment says 1947 and a quote, "I don't know what the fuck you're on about," and then a crying face, and then Jamie standing on business.
Yep, that's what it says.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, and I can't be asked to look it up. Presumably you said something that Leon Goopy is the person who left the comment.
Let's go to that episode.
I can't be asked.
Go to that episode.
You do it. You bring up on your phone. Oh, wait a minute. you can't do that on your phone.
I don't know which episode they're referring to.
It's the latest
firstly.
one.
I don't know. I don't remember what we recorded last week, Brian.
But you just go to...
I literally blew my car up on the way home. Like...
You don't know what's anything's happening.
I don't know what fucking day it is, man.
All right, hang on. So the bit was you saying that you know a lot about French cinema.
No, I said I know a little bit about French cinema.
Was it little or was it?
No, right. Fucking edit in, cut out the exact bit and edit in. I think you'll find I said I know a little bit about French cinema. I know a bit about French cinema. I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
I know a bit about French cinema.
Okay, yeah. Somewhere in the middle.
All right.
I mean, so there's a film coming out at the moment, right? With what's his face? Borat. Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yes.
The original French version of that is a film my partner wanted me to see because it's bloody brilliant, and they've done a shitty American copy of it.
Oh yeah, they always do shit American copies.
Like the film with fucking Malcolm in the Middle's dad and Heisenberg in it, where he's in a wheelchair.
Bryan Cranston, yeah.
Bryan Cranston's in a wheelchair, right? And then fucking that
Kevin
geezer,
Hart.
Kevin Hart has to be his carer.
Yeah.
That's a copy of a sick French film that I have seen that's so much better than the American version. Sorry, Bryan Cranston, I am a fan.
I had that with a horror film that I can't remember which country. It's a European country, I can't remember which, but it's a horror film called Speak No Evil, I think it was called. But basically it's about it's about a family meeting another family on holiday, and they're like, oh, well, you should come visit us sometime. And then they go, and then it turns out it gets really like bad because it's kind of a horror thriller or whatever, but that it has a really brutal ending, like the original version. Really brutal ending. Jamie's not listening to me, he's reading the comment on the screen. But it has a really brutal ending that I was like, oh, that like actually has made me angry, like at the end. Like, you know, when you're kind of like emotionally affected by a film once it ends.
Yeah.
And then they made an American version with one of the people in it was James McAvoy.
Great.
And I was like, no way they're going to do that ending. And then I watched YouTube clips of the
See if
ending.
Did they do the ending?
No.
Oh.
They did like a classic, like...
Which film is this with James McAvoy in it?
I think it's called Speak No Evil.
I feel like I've seen most James... Because I like James McAvoy.
Really recent, like
Speak No Evil.
Speak No Evil, yeah.
That is James McAvoy.
Yep, he is
I've
in it.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, so the American one has an ending of like, oh, quick, we need to get away. We need to fight for survival. We've beat... spoilers for the film. We've beat them in the end, and we've managed to get away, and everyone's safe. And boy, that was traumatizing what we just went through. You know, that kind of thing. The original, wherever country it's from, version is like, Jesus fucking Christ! I can't believe you've done like to the makers of the film. I can't believe you've done this. Like it's that. So
I was reading while you were talking a comment on the screen.
I could tell.
I'm not going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
But basically, the spirit of the comment,
who is from?
It's from Leon. Is that it would be full commitment to the bit if all of the bits, including the tangents, had intro music. We're not fucking doing that. And then, secondly,
tell us how you really feel.
I get a lot of heat for tangents, but if we did cut to intro music for every tangent, we'd be surprised at how much Ryan mentions wrestling, and I think that is true.
I mean, I haven't mentioned this episode. I think I'm more restrained.
I've not gone on a mad tangent. At no point in this episode have I started talking about Britain in the 70s.
No, but...
And like just recently, I've been reading a book about the Beatles that's really interesting. And I've been listening to a podcast series about Peter Mandelson. Haven't mentioned any of that stuff.
Look, we both went on a tangent about whether Christian Bale does steroids or not, or did steroids or not. So
that's very important to the podcast.
And that's both of us. I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah,
I'll admit my part.
You were a willing participant.
Yeah. So, do have other comments as well. A few on the Eisner episode, actually.
Oh yeah,
but these ones are from
and
Spotify.
Most of them just Jamie's a dickhead.
I think one might be.
Is it actually?
Well, so one's from Lance Aria. I was just recommending last year's West Coast Avengers with Evil AI Ultron, which I have not read, but I will see if I can check out. Hopefully it's in like a collected edition or something. And apparently it was cancelled after 10 issues. So maybe I won't check it out. But
and then somebody else saying, did we talk about Comment Corner having music last week? Is that what?
I'm almost certain we did, based on the comments.
Because the comments are all about them wanting music for Comment Corner. But somebody said, as a now certified super fan, I demand that Comment Corner has music. Demand it, I say. And then
that's why I suggested adding music.
And then somebody else just said it was an amazing podcast. So love it.
I mean,
welcome to the club. We got cookies. Nice. I like our comment section. It's overwhelmingly very positive. You guys are great.
I mean, I do miss the really political negative guy, whoever that was.
Yeah, can you just come back and be mean again?
It's like at the end of a rom-com. Like, I know we said we didn't want it, but actually we kind of miss you.
I think my take on the Iraq War in this episode was quite nuanced.
Bring it back? Should we do more extreme political like ramblings?
I thought
and see if that brings him back.
I thought it was it was too nuanced for him.
Yeah,
it was too nuanced.
So we should go more unhinged. Well, maybe we'll be covering some comics in the next couple of weeks that might get onto those topics.
My political opinions aren't unhinged, Ryan. They're just perfectly sensible.
Nothing
to me.
It's not me. It's the rest of the world. That's the
fucking
problem.
Yeah, fucking A, right?
And that's exactly how we got into this mess in the first place.
Right, I need to go home.
Yeah, it's pretty warm in here. I don't know if you've heard, but England is on fire right now.
Yeah, well, but whenever it gets hot in England, TikTok just becomes...
Oh, it's bloody hot, isn't it?
Foreigners realizing that the heat in England is somehow different.
Yeah.
It's all Americans who are like, I'm from Arizona where it's routinely like 40 degrees. Well, They give random bullshit numbers because they give it in Fahrenheit.
I saw one from LA where it's always hot and sunny.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, it's always like random bullshit number in America.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's only other random bullshit number here, but it feels really hot, and it's because we don't have the infrastructure. For reference, it was 35 Royal centigrades.
Yes, the Royal centigrades.
Yeah, the other day it was 35 Royal measures of heat in the UK, and it was too fucking hot.
Yep. The entire country came to a standstill.
Oh, mate, like I had to like run some errands in the car, and people were just like fucking driving across junction, like nobody gave.
Imagine Mad Max. It was that basically when it gets hot.
Like one of the errands I had to run was surprisingly buying a fan, and there were like people fighting over fans in Asda. It was insane. It was just too much.
I went one of those days. The extent of my leaving the house was 5 minutes to a corner shop to get an ice cream, and I came back.
You were fucking brave.
I came back and I was like, well, not doing that again.
I think
not worth it.
One of those days was like supposed to be like a big celebration day, and my partner was just really pleased that she got a nap because it was so hot.
I can't. It's too hot to nap in. Like, can't get comfortable.
Dude, when you have a baby, you fucking take the sleep when you can get it.
Yeah, I need my perfect 8 hours, or I'm an absolute nightmare the next day.
Our kid just keeps looking at me, and he's like, Dad, why am I so uncomfortable? And I'm like, kiddo, I can only take so many layers of clothing off you. Like, the next layer is your nappy, and if I take that off you, you're going to poop on me again, because you've already pooped on me once today, because I took pity on you and took the nappy off you. Like, I'm so sorry, kid, but you're just going to have to tough this one out.
The classic George W. Bush is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, won't get fooled again.
He actually did poop on me today.
I think it's a good place to end the podcast.
I'm just going to tell this one little... You can edit as much of the end out as you want.
Cool, don't tempt me.
Just fucking... Do you know what? If I gave Ryan carte blanche to edit this podcast the way he wanted to, I would. You say it
like I don't already have it.
I wouldn't be in the podcast. It'd just be Ryan.
Just like, I made some really interesting points this episode.
You know how sometimes you see people in interviews and they say things like, oh, so my favorite thing about when we were making the movie, and it's like a really unnatural way for people to speak, and it's because what they've edited out is a journalist saying, can you tell me about your favorite aspect of making this movie? And then the famous person, being media trained, knows to repeat the question and the answer.
Yeah.
They can edit the journalist out. Given half the chance, I think you would do that to me, and I would just be feeding you things to respond to.
I'm surprised you haven't noticed all the times I've done it already. Anyway, on that note...
I don't listen to the fucking... I actually do listen to the podcast sometimes.
That's why I said, because I know you listen to some, that's why I was like... I've been doing that the whole entire time. But anyway.
I keep saying I need to go home, and then I just continue podcasting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm already at home, so I'm fine. Like...
I'm pretty dedicated to oh, man, I'm going to put the roof down on the drive home. It's going to be magnificent.
Well, good for you. Anyway, on that note, hope you all put the roofs down on your cars, even if they're not convertibles. Just make it work somehow.
An angle grinder and some perseverance.
Or one of those claw machines they use at junkyards. Anything will work. Anything will work if you put your mind to it.
Your local fire service, your local fire engine dudes
big saw.
And ladies, yeah, they have big saws on now to get the tops off cars. And I know a firefighter, right? And she says that they revel in any opportunity to lop the top off a car.
So here's the message of the podcast of this episode. Go to your local fire station, speak to your local firefighters and just say, can I use the saw? And they'll probably be fine with it.
They'll probably help you.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the message.
Have a wonderful heat wave if you're in the UK. Have a wonderful Always Sunny if you live somewhere else. And Ryan's going to try and sell you our podcast for a bit, I suppose.
I mean, it's more like get in contact, leave reviews, all that kind of stuff.
All the bullshit that, just do those things. Do those things.
Do those things that'll help us. Just come on. We've been good to you.
We've been good to you.
Give us something
Listen
back.
to your mother.
Do you know how much we've sacrificed for this? Anyway, bye. And thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to get notified of our future episodes as well. And if you're feeling particularly generous, then please leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using. If you'd like to get in contact with us, then send an email to comiclit@gmail.com. You can also watch videos by me on the Comic Stand YouTube page, which is linked in the description. Thank you, goodbye.